Okay, cool. We are ready to go. Recording and funk. Hello and welcome to Morning Fuel. I am your host, John Bundy, and you are here because you believe in the power of the spoken word and its ability to change lives, and that by sharing our stories, we can help others overcome challenges that they cannot overcome on their own. Whether it's a victory you need to win in business or in your own personal life, you understand that the answers can be found in listening to others who are willing to share their stories, knowing that their story ultimately doesn't belong to them. All right, today's guest, a personal financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual 3 years ago, as a result, a couple of tragic personal events in his life involving people close to him. Witnessing these events showed him the importance of having a solid financial plan to protect your family and loved ones. Feeling a call on his life to truly make a difference in people's lives is what drives him and keeps him motivated. When asked what his favorite part of his calling was, he replied, meeting people in any stage of their life and financial situation and helping them to achieve their financial goals. He has been quoted saying, "The greatest compliment you can receive is knowing your clients trust you enough to introduce you to people closest to them." His entire business is built on personal referrals. With clients in over 23 states, including Alaska, please extend a warm Morning Fuel welcome to Lucas Feller. Good to see you, brother.
All right. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Well, thanks for having us. This is, I was saying earlier, this is our very first portable mobile podcasting experience. We've always before this done it in a studio setting. So this is cool.
Well, I'm glad I'm able to expand your business.
Yeah.
Well-oiled machine, I can say that.
Yeah, we're working on it. Like I said, first time. Next time we'll have a timer on us and see how long it takes. But we had fun, and we always give ourselves enough time. If you're always early, you'll never be late. So
good word to live by.
Yeah, man. So well, cool, man. So you've been working for Northwest Mutual for 3 years. Were you doing insurance before that, or was this your start in it?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I've had my business with Northwestern Mutual now for 3 years. I've actually been with Northwestern Mutual actually going back 5 years prior to that as a client myself. So I started off as just a personal client. I've done all my financial planning through Northwestern Mutual, and growing up around the name, Northwestern Mutual, the home office is located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I'm from Wisconsin originally, so I always knew the name.
Okay.
Always just knew the value of having a good financial plan. Even when I was younger, growing up, savings was always important to me. I always put away that $5 allowance for mowing the lawn.
Right. Well, who taught you that? Who was feeding these financial tips to you when you were growing up?
Yeah. So my parents were very good at saving.
Okay.
So they were both just very hardworking, and we didn't do a lot of expensive traveling or anything like that, but just always learned the value of saving money.
Right.
And that always carried with me through school. And then once I got out of school, I was very diligent about paying back my student loans from college. So always just had that mentality.
Right.
And I knew the importance of that just myself, even at a younger age.
Well, you saw how important it was to your folks, especially if they're passing on the information to you. When I graduated high school, I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook. So it was one of those later in life things with me. My wife and I were turned on to Crown Financial. We went through that, even facilitated a class, but we still had no idea what we were doing. And then I finally started getting it about finances when I was introduced to Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
He could put the cookies on the bottom shelf where people like me could understand it.
Right.
And it was like, it clicked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I been doing my whole life? So in so much debt, we actually sold a brand new car that we had just got like a couple months before. A buddy of mine, he's like a new friend. He's like, hey, I think you should read this book. And then I hated him for like a month after that because I knew I had to sell the car. But anyways.
Yeah, it changed your life though, right?
Getting right. It did.
Yeah.
It did, and continues to, and it has changed my children's lives as well, because they're learning stuff that I had just learned when I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
So.
And we often learn that behavior, that knowledge from our parents. So if children don't grow up around parents that have done much financial planning or really just know much about it, right? Like anything, right? We often learn what we see.
Right.
And so when I meet with somebody for the first time, I like to find out more about their background, how they grew up around money, right? What they think about money, because that gives me just the kind of the first approach to them on how to address the general concept of financial planning.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a common denominator, isn't it? We all need money to live and move, so it's one of those things where, and then of course, depending on the setting, you could go to a conference or something like that and go there to hear about money, but it's brought up at church, and then it becomes one of those things is, there he is talking about taboo, money again. Right. Like, yeah, cool. So, how you said you live in Newport News? Your office is here in Williamsburg. Do you have offices in Newport News or other areas that you kind of travel to, or is this kind of your main hub?
This is my main hub for an office. Now I do meet with individuals, family business owners, sometimes at their place of work or sometimes even at their house. Right. It really depends, but just like everybody now, virtual meetings are a lot of what I do, even for people that are still local to the area. As you mentioned earlier, I work with clients in 23 different states. Okay. So traveling to places like Alaska, generally. Right.
Do you do that? Do you do travel for this business often?
Not often.
Okay.
No, on occasion.
But then, it's just a Zoom call away, right? For anywhere.
Yeah. And it's not only easier on my part, and I'm able to reach people and work with people all over the country, but also from their aspect too. It's easier for them if they don't have to travel to my office. If they have maybe children at home or they're on just time constraints, they can log in from wherever they are. We can have our conversation, and again, that allows me to meet with just more people throughout the day as well.
Right. Sure. And of course, you could, especially with Zoom, you could set up to meet with 10 people at the same time if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now you mentioned earlier about how your financial education started in the home, young age. Do you have children? Are you passing along that information? You got a family yet that you're passing this information to?
Yeah, no family of my own.
Okay.
But I do. I work with a lot of my immediate family and extended family as well, and that's at all different stages of life. And,
Very cool.
Just like
brothers and sisters, or
yep. No, I have a brother, and they have an 18-month-old. I have a niece now, so their daughter. So
older or younger siblings?
Older.
Older brother.
Yes, older brother.
How does he take financial tips from his younger brother? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's following the advice.
Okay, cool, very cool. Yeah. Well, what as a business owner, somebody running a business, you're in the marketplace. I know a lot of even if you're working for a company, especially in your line of work, it's not an hourly wage. It is commissions. It's you bust your butt to make the income. So your advice to others doing the same thing, whether it's in the financial industry or another business, what advice would you give to others aspiring to succeed and share what they know and what they love?
It really doesn't matter what business you're in. At some point, if you're a business owner, you're going to have struggles. And those could be financial struggles. Those could be just different things that come up unexpectedly.
Sure. Yeah, mine is blocking time.
Yeah. Time management is huge, right? And when you're trying to meet with your clients or your customers, whatever that business is, sometimes it's early in the morning, sometimes it's later in the evening, or maybe it's even on a weekend. So just trying to make time for them while also keeping enough time for yourself to to keep your own sanity.
Yeah, sure.
But it's really knowing what your purpose is in what you do for your business, and if that's truly serving somebody or helping somebody, always knowing what your worth is and why you're doing that.
Right.
So even during those tough times, last year, for example, when COVID hit and a lot of small businesses had to shut down, either permanently or maybe it was just for a few months.
Right.
There were a lot of financial struggles with that, but it's remaining true to yourself. Why you do what it is that you do.
Right.
And if you truly are helping somebody, knowing that hey, you have to make a sacrifice for yourself sometimes to better somebody else.
Sure.
So it's still showing up every single day, even when everything might be against you. If you're having a tough month, if you're having even just a tough day, it's never giving up.
Right. Are you seeing more of an awakening lately, especially after this past year, for financial services, folks that are just kind of like, oh, I need to do something about this?
Absolutely. Last year, when the pandemic shut everything down, March, April timeframe, it really was awakening for a lot of people.
Right.
Because people that were either out of work temporarily, or if people were sick, it was just that realization that, hey, this is real, right?
Yeah.
Things happen unexpectedly, and this was on a very grand scale. It affected so many people, but it really was, an opportunity for people to reevaluate just their finances, their planning,
right.
whatever that is, making sure that they are safe no matter what happens, and that's really what we do. So my goal is to create financial security for people.
Right.
And that means a million different things to different people, right? It's finding out what is most important to them.
It kind of starts with an education, right? Because some folks, you probably speak with some folks that have no idea even where they stand, in their financial picture for their life, not knowing where they're headed and don't even know where they are. So it's like that those points on a map. If you have no idea where you're at and you don't even know where you're going, I mean, you're just kind of spinning in circles, right?
Yeah, you're just wandering around aimlessly.
Right.
So it's establishing those goals and those objectives so that we create that roadmap for you.
Sure.
So that you don't wander off that path. Now, life is going to throw us some curves,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to occasionally get off that path, but that's when I meet with my clients at least once a year. So we sit down and we do an annual review meeting. So whatever has changed over the course of that last year, financially, personally, professionally, and if there's new, say, family situations that come up, or if there's new children, or if there's a job change, or if retirement is coming earlier than expected, that's when we can still adjust that plan.
Right.
So we know that plan is going to change a number of times throughout a person's life.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we wanted to keep in regular contact with them and just make those tweaks as we need to.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff, man. I see that one of your favorite books is Go Giver. I think I've had that on a reading list for a while, pretty sure. But tell us, kind of maybe a highlight of that one that kind of is just sticks with you.
Yeah. So really, what that talks about is giving more than you're getting in return. So pouring yourself out into what you do,
right.
Knowing that again you're helping somebody,
right?
And at the end of the day, what that's going to do is reward you, and that's not only financially, but just that spiritual feeling, that fulfillment that you have of you are making a difference in somebody's life.
Right. I mean, and we understand that as a spiritual law too. I mean, you give what you give, you receive. If you sow, you're going to reap that. So good or bad. So if you're going out there spending yourself to help people, and that's your life, you're going to get help in return, and it'll come like in different forms. It won't always come. You help somebody by handing them $10. You might get, I don't know, somebody giving you some clothing or something like that.
Sure.
It's kind of wild how it happens. This is a fun surprises sometimes in the way that it comes back to you.
It really is, yeah. And it may not be for 2 years. It may not be for 5 years. But, it's just those unexpected returns.
Yeah. Very cool. So, where now 23 states you said that you're doing business in right now. Where's the most fun place that you visited aside from vacations? I heard you just came back from a vacation, but aside from vacations, like you go to do some business and you're like, oh, this is a great restaurant or this is a cool place. I'd like to visit it again.
Yeah. So my brother lives in Denver.
Okay.
So Colorado is one of my favorites. I always love going back home. Wisconsin
Okay. So is that Wisconsin? Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
So most of my family still lives in Wisconsin. My parents still live there. So I've tried to get back there at least once a year, and preferably not during the colder winter months. So
yeah, snow can get deep there, can it?
It can, yeah. It reminds me why I don't live there anymore. But
sure, that's why I don't live. That's why I don't live in New York anymore. Yeah, that's where I wanted to go back when we left, but every time I visit, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
The traffic and the cold.
Yep.
Forget about it.
Just a gentle reminder, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, got to go back for like a wedding or a funeral, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm never going back again. Okay, cool. Well, what about tell us like a goal that you have, like a long-term goal. What is it? What's your future? Your ultimate future that you want to achieve?
So really, it's continuing to grow my practice into more areas. Just continuing to build my clientele, working with more individuals, more business owners, especially here in the local community in the Williamsburg area, the Hampton Roads area.
We got each other's back. We got to do that.
Yeah. Because as I said, I have clients all over the country, and that's great. I love that. But it's also working with people local that you do business with as well, right. of kind of that return of hey, I'm helping you, or you're helping me, so let me help you along the way.
Very cool. All right. Well, one last question before we go, and before I ask that question, where can folks connect with you the easiest? Where can folks find you and start a conversation with you?
Sure. So my website is lucasfeller.nm.com. Okay, my first and last name together. And then I also have my Facebook page at facebook.com/lucasfeller.nm.
Okay, cool. And we'll also put this in the show notes so folks will be able to they won't have to try and spell it or anything like that. They'll be able to just kind of copy and paste there. So final question is, as somebody who's out there in the marketplace and doing business out here, what is it that you most need now?
Really, I think that the awareness of who we are, where we are, and what we do. Okay. Because again, we want to get out and meet as many people, and sometimes that's challenging, especially if people don't know you, right? If you're that stranger, I don't cold call anybody. Right. So all the business I do is from direct referrals. So It's just letting people know, here is what we do, right? Here is why we do it. I'm a non-fee based advisor, so there is no cost to sit down, to have those conversations, even to put in the planning that we do. So really there should be no excuse for people to want to sit down.
I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, I was going to ask you even what is your special offer? I mean, that sounds pretty special there, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
It's just being able to connect with people, to help as many people, and I don't want that cost to be a hindrance of why someone feels like they can't do this, because everybody can. Even it is never too early to start. It's never too late. Yeah,
well, I mean that opens it up pretty much to everyone. I mean,
it really does.
It does.
Yeah, and I work with clients. I work with technically clients that are less than a year old.
Oh, gotcha. I understand.
But parents working with. But I have adult clients from ages 21 all the way up to age 89. Right. So we work with them at any stage of life, in any phase of their financial planning.
Okay, cool. Lucas, really great to meet you, man. Thanks for letting me come and get to know you more.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thanks, Sean.
You're very welcome. You have a great night.
You too.
All right.